Hi everyone. The problem now that we are going to solve involves the input table gym logs. So this table has below columns entry date, that is the date on which the user went or did not go to the gym, and the status with value y or n indicating whether the user went to the gym or not. So this is the gym log of the user showing on which date the user went to the gym or which date the user did not go to the gym. Now, as part of the output, we need to find out the longest streak when the user attended the gym. That is the consecutive days, the maximum consecutive days on which the user went to the gym. So we have sorted the input based on the entry date, and if we see, this is the date that is ranging from 6th January to 8th January, which is the longest consecutive days when the user has gone to the gym. So this is the output that we have, and this is the output that we need to generate. The longest streak when the user went to the gym. So now let's formulate the approach before writing the output query. So what we will do is, let's copy the input data into an Excel sheet and work on the approach. So this is the input data that we have. Now what we will do is, we will work on this input data, and as a first step, what we will do is, we will generate one ranking. So this ranking, how we will generate is, we will generate based on the status that is present. Okay. So kind of we will do the grouping based on the status. So kind of let's highlight the status in a different color, and in that we will order based on the entry date. So since here there are two values, there will be two partitions that will get created. So once we do this ranking, partitioning on the status and ordering based on the entry date, the values will be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, ordering based on the date. So this is the first partition. Similarly, the ranking will happen on the second group as well. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this will be the ranking that will get allocated based on the by partitioning on the status and ordering based on the entry date. So once we have this, we are going to use a trick. What trick we are going to use is, from this entry date, we are going to subtract this number of days that is present in the rank column. Okay, so we will subtract these many days. Now what will be the benefit of doing that? So if there is any consecutive days with the same, if we have the consecutiveness on both the sides, we will get the same group date. So let's see for few examples and then we will understand. So what we will do is, we will derive a new column that is group date. So if we subtract 1 from this 1st January, we will get 31st December. Now if we will subtract 1 from 2nd January, this will be 1st January. If we subtract 2 days from 3rd January, it will be 1st January. So now we see, whenever this is in increasing order and this is also in increasing order, if we subtract the two, we will get the same group if they are increasing by same difference. Okay, so we will get the same group. This is what we are looking for. Similarly, here, if we subtract 2 days from 4th January, we will get 2nd January. And if we subtract 3 days from 5th January, again we will get 2nd January. So this will form a different group, and this will form a different group. So notice that the groups that are formed are of consecutive days of the same status. Consecutive days of the same status. And likewise, here it will be 3rd Jan in each of these instances. 3 minus 3 going back by 3 days on 6th of January, we will get 3rd January. Going back by 4 days on 7th of January, again it will be 3rd January. And going back by 5 days on 8th of January will be 3rd of January. So this will again form a new group. Okay, so likewise, different groups will be created based on the consecutiveness of the date, and when we remove the rank number of days from that particular date. So this is what we are looking for. The groups is what we are looking for. So once we have this group, it is very simple to solve the problem now. So what we have to do as a next step, we have to count how many entries are there for each group. Okay, so what we will do is we will take this group date separately, okay, and count for each date. Okay, for 31st December there is only one entry, for 1st January there is two entry, so and then for 2nd January there is two entry, for 3rd January there is three entry, and for 5th January there is one entry. Okay, so this way we have to do the aggregation. So on this data, we have to count out each entry, how many times it is occurring. Okay, and we will choose which is the group which is occurring the maximum number of times. So in this case, it is 3rd of January. So we will go back to this table and we will fetch all the records where the group date is 3rd of January, and we will get this output. And this is what we are looking for. Okay, so this way we will formulate the solution. So again, to repeat what approach we have taken. So given this input data, we have first got the rank. How we have got the rank? We have partitioned based on the status and ordered by the entry date. So since there are two status values, we will get two groupings of the ranks. And once we have that, we will subtract these many rank days from this entry date. And wherever the entry date is consecutive and the rank is consecutive, that is, it is for the same status, we will get the same group date for such entries. Okay, so this way we will get the group date. And once we have the group date, we will just do the aggregation to count the number of entries for that group date. And then the group date which has the maximum entry. Okay, so in this case 3rd of January. So we'll go back to this table and get the records where the group date is the group date with the max value. So this way we will get this output. So let's write the query now following this approach to get the solution. Okay, so let's write the query. So we will operate on this input data that we can see now, that is gym logs. So we will fetch the data from the gym logs. We will retain all the columns as it is, that is entry date and status. As a first step, we will get the rank using the row number function, row number window function we will use. And what we will do is our window will be group, that is partition by the status and order by the entry date. Okay, so this way we will get the rank column. So let's run this and see the output. So this is the output we have. We have completed the first step. So we have got the rank column by partitioning based on the status and ordering based on the entry date. So we have two groups created, two rankings created. So now as a next step, what we will do is we will do from the entry date, we will remove these many days to get the group date. So let's do it here itself. What we will do is from the entry date. So what we will do is we will use the date add function. So in date add, first we will say that we want to add or subtract the days. Okay, and we want to subtract the date. So we have to give a negative sign when we want to go in the reverse direction. When we want to add, we have to specify the number of days as positive value. If we want to go backwards, we have to specify with negative value. So these many days, that is these many days, we want to go back in which column? Entry date column. So we will specify the entry date, and this will be our group date column. Okay, so let's run this and see the output. So we have got the group date column. So we have got the rank, we have subtracted that many days from the entry date, and we got the group date. So as we discussed in the Excel sheet, if we see for the consecutive days with same status, same in the rank in increasing order, we get the same group date. So for example, this is one group, then this is one group, this is one group, and likewise. So now what we will do is we will count the number of entries of the group date. So let's add this as part of a CTE, and we will operate on that CTE. So let's call it as gym CTE. Okay. So we will operate on the data that we see now. So from gym CTE. So now what we have to do is for each group date, we have to find the total entries, find the group date with the maximum entries. Okay, so how we will do it is, so first of all, let's find which one has the maximum entry using the count function. So this will give us the total entries. So let's run this and see the output. Okay, so from the group CT, group date is invalid in the server because it is not, okay, so we have to add the group by clause. Whenever we are doing the aggregation, we have to add the group by clause and specify those columns. Now let's run this and see the output. So for each of the groups, now we have the total entries that are present. And as we see, this group has the maximum entries. So we have to fetch this group date. So we are at this stage. So once we have determined which groups has how many entries, we have to get the group with maximum entry, and then using that we will filter the input data and fetch only those records where this group date is present. Okay. So now what we will do is we will use a dense rank. Okay. So we will use a dense rank window function. Okay. And what we will do is we will order by, so we have to order by this column total entries in the descending order, so that this entry has rank as 1. So we will order by count 1, that is the total entries in descending order. So this will give us the group rank. So let's call it as group rank, and let's run this again to see the output. Okay, so it has to be here. Yeah. So let's run this, and this is the output. So now for each of the group, we know how many entries it has, and after having the entries, we have also given the ranking based on the total entries that are present, and the entry which has group rank as 1, that is the entry that shows the group date which has maximum rows. So what we have to do is just go on the previous data and fetch the entries where this group date is present. Okay, so our previous data is gym CTE. So what we will do is let's add this as a CTE called as group CTE. Whatever we have just computed, let's add it as a group CTE. So now what we will do is we will go to the previous table. So previous table as in just to see what data it had. So it is this one. It is this one where we are going, and we will just fetch where the group date is, whatever we have just fetched. Okay, and this is what we have fetched now. So we will get these entries. So how we will do it is, so we will operate on this data, that is gym CTE, okay, and get the columns. What columns we need? We need entry date, we need status. Those are the only two inputs that we need. And after that, we have to filter on the group date, and we will see that this group date is same as the group date that we fetched now. Okay, so from here we will fetch the group date from this group CTE that we have created. Okay, and where the group rank is 1, so that this will return us the group which was having the maximum entries. And once we get the group date, we will filter our main table where the column group date is equal to this fetched group date. Okay, and okay, so let's run this and see the output first. So we have got the output. Now just one thing that is pending is aliasing this column. So we can call it as longest streak dates. Now let's run this. So this is the output now that we have generated. So we have identified which is the longest streak, that is, which is the consecutive days, maximum number of consecutive days when the user went to the gym, and that is what we have shown in the output. So we will just summarize what we have done once more. So what we have done is we have operated on this gym logs table. So first of all, what we have done is we have computed the rank column by partitioning, that is grouping on the status column and ordering based on the entry date. After that, we have subtracted rank number of days from the entry date. Okay. So for subtracting, we have used dateadd. We have specified that we want to subtract the days, and these are the number of days that we have to subtract from this entry date column. So once we have done this subtraction, we get the group date. Then what we have done is for each of the group date, we have identified how many total entries it has, and we have ordered based on the entries in descending order and called it as group rank. After that, we from this table we have got all the group date which is having the highest number of entries by using this group rank equal to 1. And once we have this group date, we just go back to the table and fetch only those entries where the group date is equal to this group date. So this way we have got the longest streak when the user attended the gym. So this is the way we have solved the problem. We will be adding the create table and insert statement in the description. Please go through it. If you have any alternate solution, please post it in the comments. Please provide your feedback in the comments of whether you found this video useful or you want to see any changes. And if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe the channel. Thank you.